Hello everyone and welcome to our Game Week 11 preview. I'm Chris, Kieran's here too. Hello.
Hello, you right?
Yeah, I'm good. You enjoy Game Week 10?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, another green arrow, so decent.
What's another green arrow for you? You're flying, aren't you, at the minute?
I'm not doing bad, yeah.
It's going well. All right, let's take a look at your team and then we'll do mine and have a chit chat about Game Week 11, which I think is a bit of a funny one because with another international break to come up, it just feels like I don't know, bit of a bookend really. But let's try and make it exciting.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so I got 51 points, above average again. Green arrow, as I said, I think it was 55k to 49k. It's a small one, but it'll do. Defense once again, nothing going on there. Unfortunate. And Bremo, I generally thought he would do something in that Fulham game.
Yeah, so did I.
Nothing. Salah captaincy with another Haaland blank, paying dividends. Smith Rowe, Palmer again doing nothing, and then the front line do nothing, and then just thank God basically for Salah and Solanke.
I was going to say that only two returners. I just noticed.
Yeah, pretty much. I was hovering over the Solanke to Cunha move on Friday night, and I just, for whatever reason, decided not to do it. Not really sure why I didn't do it. I was there because Cunha was going up, Solanke looked like he was going down. I guess the next two fixtures, was what I was keeping him for rather than the Villa game, I suppose. And he obviously ended up doing really well last week, and thank God for him.
I know, right? It's just like he finally returned after, like I said to you the other day, all that flatlining of XG and having nothing. It just popped off in like about a space of 20 minutes.
Yeah, when he didn't get to that Johnson, the cross for the Johnson just tapped in. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, this is
same again.
Same as usual. But thank God he started to get some returns.
Nice, really nice. Michael in chat says 49k, amazing. This is all down. If Michael's not been watching every week, this is all down to your non-Haaland approach this season, which between game weeks 6 and let's say 10, when pretty much everyone had Haaland for that run, you didn't, and basically captained every player that got like 16 plus points.
Yep, Salah, Saka, and Mbeumo, and then Salah again. Yeah.
Crazy.
All done really well. Yeah.
So this week I was really pleased because my moves paid off. So I ended up on 55. So the 4 moves from last week, I'd already done them by the time we did our show on the Wednesday. But I did Haaland, Watkins, Smith Rowe, and Johnson out, Salah, Palmer, Cunha, and Wood. So one of the guys who I took out returned out of 4, and 3 of the ones out of the 4 I brought in returned, which is good. I suppose you could even say Palmer kind of returned because he got a bonus point, but not really like much more than 3. Actually, we should probably talk about Palmer in a minute at the top of the show because you see the tweet, he's not trained.
Not really sure what to do with him at this point.
I know. We'll have a chat about that a bit perhaps in a minute or either a bit later. So I was pleased, and I think we talked about it on the show last week. A lot needed to happen, but there's not that many points in it still between the million mark. So I'm hoping that I think the team looks good now for this weekend as well. Everyone's got good fixtures. I'm probably going to captain Salah again, and I'm hoping for like another green arrow. Really, back on the upward trajectory. So
on that Wood train, and he just doesn't seem to be stopping.
I know. Finally got Wood last game week, and it feels great and. It's nice. I was a bit unlucky with Milenkovic. I said to you, he had those 2 huge. They were huge chances. They weren't even big. They were huge chances, and so he could have done a lot more. I think the team's in good stead. You know what, Kieran? Calvert-Lewin didn't return last week, but this weekend it might be the week. I can't believe how bad he's been. Like I've been looking at replacements, and his numbers are still like, for me who doesn't watch many football games. You see his numbers and you think he must be doing well because he's like statistically in like the top 3 or 4 strikers for like that price range, but it's now 6 games in a row he's either got 2 or 1, and it's just it's pretty unbelievable really. But anyway, happens. Right, let's crack on and talk through the topics for the show today. I've got just in front of me while we're chatting sort of the top scoring players last 4 game weeks. Chris Woody at the top there. All right, what do you want to lead with today?
Okay, so yeah, I think we're just gonna do. We haven't really got any pressing topics, I suppose. We covered like Haaland out last week and stuff like that. So we're just gonna do sort of matchup analysis this week, and yeah, fixtures we're looking forward to. So yeah, Brentford versus Bournemouth is first for me. I think this one's interesting mainly because Bournemouth's fixtures are starting to turn, obviously, start to turn good again. Like they've got one or slash two traditional top six sides in the next 10 weeks. So it's that one of them is United, one of them Spurs. So I don't know if you need to be worried about them either at all, to be honest, from an attacking point of view. So yeah, Bournemouth going to be obviously very confident after probably their biggest victory in the Premier League. Well, not even just the Premier League, probably ever as a club against Man City. And then, you know, the last three, they've beaten Arsenal, they've drawn with Villa, and they obviously won that game versus City. So, yeah, they're going to be on a huge run of confidence and form. And, you know, these fixtures look really good that are coming up as well. That they've got, as I just said, that really good run of fixtures. So, yeah, Brentford, on the other hand, coming to the end of their sort of good fixtures, they do have three good ones still. Like if you can class this one as a good one, I guess. Yeah, 2 wins and 2 losses in the last 4. So pretty inconsistent from Brentford. Most of us probably only own Mbeumo. Everyone's steered clear of their defence apart from Flecken owners.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so Semenyo, 5.6 million, 8% owned. Like he's gone down in ownership quite a lot. So he is a differential again. 13th highest scoring mid on 44 points. That's tied with Rodgers. He's above Smith Rowe. He's above Kulusevski. He's above Gordon, like players like that. So players with sort of have sort of pedigree in the league have done well previously. Like he's ahead of all of those. So 5 blanks, 5 returns, which is obviously good for an enabler. Gaming 1 to 10, he's had the most shots of all mids.
That's crazy.
42, like in of every mid in the whole game. So not even just his price raid, like every mid in the whole game. 42, most shots. Yeah, last 6 weeks though, he's had 22 shots, which is third of all mids, then 4 big chances. Next year, 1.9, 9 key passes himself, and 1 big chance created. So he's had returns of 8, 5, 6, and 7 against teams of mid-table or lower so far. So that suggests he probably will do well in this run. Yeah, what do you think about Semenyo? Are you going to look to get him? I'm probably pretty tempted to get him because I've got Smith Rowe and Rodgers sort of burning a hole in my team, deciding to not do much. So yeah, I'm pretty tempted by him.
Well, Bournemouth are definitely a team like of interest this week. So even though I was kind of said about Calvert-Lewin at the start of, well, when I'm looking at my team, I think the start of this run is like a good opportunity to get on them, and especially like a really good entry point is Brentford because their last 2 fixtures of homes have been just like huge scoring. That 4-3 against Ipswich, and then they conceded, was it 5-3 against Wolves?
Yeah,
I think so. They conceded 6 goals in 2 games at home, and I kind of expect that it's going to be another high scoring one against against Bournemouth, just because of the amount of shots they conceded in that game against Fulham. Like Brentford's defence is just not good. So I really like Semenyo. The difficulty, not so much difficulty, it's nice to have options, but because I've got so many, well, they've got the 3 premium mids and Mbeumo. My 5th mid at the moment is comfortably Rodgers, and he does have some good fixtures himself from game week 12. He's got 3 home games in 4. So it'd be tricky for me to get rid of him. I'm just going to have a quick look. But I think if you're probably going to compare the two, look, I've just got Rodgers is up on screen, so it's Liverpool away, obviously this weekend, then Palace, Brentford and Southampton are the 3 home games, which Brentford and Southampton at home look very good on paper, so does Crystal Palace. But you're right, I kind of feel like Semenyo is probably a bit more explosive than Rodgers, and his minutes perhaps ceiling's a bit higher. So in the last 5 game weeks, Rodgers has only played 190 minutes, whereas Semenyo I think has only missed something like 25 minutes all season. So I think the ex-Mins chat is good for Semenyo, and I think that his explosive potential is good too. So yeah, I like him a lot. How would you rank those 2 or compare those 2?
I think Rodgers probably plays for the better team. He has been just coming up with points when someone like Watkins has not been. So yeah, at that price where most of us got him around 5.1, like he's still probably the better option, I would say, just about. The minutes are maybe just kind of catching up to him. He is starting to get a few knocks, a few injuries. So maybe Semenyo is better for the run. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think if you have Rodgers, maybe it's not a reason to take him out.
No.
Maybe if you have Smith Rowe like me, I have two of those sort of cheaper ones. Like I could probably move Smith Rowe onto him, but at the same time, like
Fulham's
Smith Rowe's
fixtures
fixtures,
are good. Yeah.
Crystal Palace away and Wolves at home in the next two, like, and then Brighton and then Spurs, like those aren't bad fixtures for attacking either wise. But yeah, I've been less enthused by what Smith Rowe has been doing generally. Like he's not been looking that involved. Had a couple of chances against Brentford, but like just again, like didn't really look convincing to me. So
but when the highlights I've seen of Semenyo, and I appreciate, like, I probably haven't watched the full game, he just looks involved in everything. Like I watched some like extended highlights of the City game, and maybe it was because they gave a lot of space, but he just was involved in everything going forwards. Like he
100%.
could have hauled. I think only getting 10 points was quite unlucky for him. So
yeah, I agree.
And your point about battering mid-table teams is bang on as well, and that's basically who he's got to play until like the start of January, minus Spurs.
Exactly. Yeah. So another one like you might be more interested in if you are looking to get rid of DCL is Evan Nilsson. 5.9 million at the moment, 0.8%. So he is an absolutely huge differential for this run coming up. If anyone wants to punt on him, like, why not? To be honest, like he's beginning to become a good asset, I would say. Like he continues to pop up with points. Like game week 5 to 10, he's got 2, 9, 2, 5, 8, and 7. So he's returned in 3 of the last 3 game weeks in a row.
Yeah.
He's not actually played full 90 yet this season. But his minutes do seem to be increasing most weeks. Like he's kind of similar a little bit to like Jimenez that we've seen with Jota, etc. Like, the fact that there is sort of a striker that's like waiting on the bench and will come on most game weeks. Like he's going to be one of those that like just comes off around 70 most weeks, it seems like, which is unfortunate. I would rather that not be the case, but at 5.9 million, real big differential with a really good run of fixtures, you can't complain too much, I suppose. Stats aren't amazing over the last weeks though. 11 shots, an XG of 1.15, big chances 3, key passes 4, big chances created of 2, and an XA of 0.44. Like that's not amazing, but it's not the worst either. Like, he's creating chances. He's got assist potential as well. So we'll have to see if he's on penalties. He didn't miss the one he took. Semenyo is probably going to be itching for them after he missed that one. But I would imagine they would want to keep their big money striker happy and keep him on penalties. So for Porto, where he came from, he had 60 goals and 21 assists in 154 appearances. And that's not taking into account potential fantasy assists and stuff as well. So, Bournemouth as a team, the XG of the last 6 weeks is 7.9 with 8 scores, so they're pretty much bang on. 17 big chances, which is 7th, and an XGC, if anyone's looking at the defense, of 7.4, which is 8th. So, they're looking okay both sides of the ball. They are going to be taking on these worst teams where they have done really well. So I think, either of those two guys, possibly. You could even look at Kirkes in defense, who got, I think it was 2 assists last week. With someone like me who's got like a Lewis and a Dunk and stuff like that, I need a defender, and possibly someone like Kirkes could be someone to bring in. But at the same time, Brentford this week doesn't seem like a great fixture for any sort of clean sheet potential. But on the Brentford side, well, actually, let's talk about. Like, are you interested in?
I am as well, to be honest. So, like you say, it's an easier. So the Evan Nilsson solution is like easier for me from Calvert-Lewin because it allows me to keep Rodgers, and then also Evan Nilsson actually rotates really well with Chris Wood when he's got City away and Arsenal away, and allows me to play Rodgers. So he is really good from that point of view. And what I wouldn't have been able to tell you about him without like looking at the numbers. He's since like game week 2, which was his first appearance, even though he blanked in the game against Chelsea when he missed the penalty, he's actually outscored Semenyo in that run by just a single point, 37 to 36. So not much in it. Expected points really similar on the two. Semenyo does like edge it by like 3 over that run. Admittedly, he's had far less shots in the box and he's not been as creative, but he's had a better XG. And he's matched his big chances. So, he's definitely a really interesting option. And you're right, he's a really good differential. But I mean, so is Semenyo. I don't know. It probably suits my team better to get him, but I feel like because I just don't know enough about him, I looked up whether he took penalties for Porto though, and he did last season. So perhaps he will keep those. And I think what I've tried to do this season, which hasn't worked sometimes, but good intentions with Calvert-Lewin and now Cunha, is I'm trying to back players who've got like big and Mbuemo as well. We both got on him obviously at the very, very start of that, but it's try and back them from the start of a good fixture run. And I don't think there's like a better one right now than Bournemouth potentially from now, like from this game week. So yeah, I like Evan Nilsson a lot, to be honest.
I mean, I would like to get him, but I've got like Havertz, whose fixtures are going to like start to swing again in game 12, so it doesn't really make sense to get rid of him. And then I've got Watkins, like losing him when they've got those good fixtures coming up seems bad as well. And then Solanke obviously got Ipswich at home. He's not someone I can get rid of this week anyway. So yeah, it's just like I'm kind of stuck with my strikers at the moment, I feel like. So I can't get to him, so I probably would have to go Semenyo, but I feel like I'm going to miss out with Evan Nilsson, unfortunately.
Why do you think his minutes are like low? Because I mean, that is a big weight in Semenyo. He's basically getting like 10 to 20 minutes extra per game week to do stuff. But then that's surprising that his numbers are, his output's still lower.
Yeah. Like I said, there's that Enes Unal on the bench who's just ready to come on most weeks. There's Sinistera and Cliver and whoever else. Like there's players that can come on and just play his position or false nine for the last 20 minutes. So I don't know, maybe he's just still adapting 10 weeks in, or 8 weeks in for him, I guess. But I would like to see that going up. Like I don't see why he can't just play some 90 minutes and just leave him on for a bit. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. So just on Mbuemo, so versus Fulham, XG of 0.00,
crazy,
XA of 0.01, and then concurrently XGI of 0.01. So he was basically absolutely non-existent in that game, which should have been a game like under the lights on Monday night. Good for him, to be honest. But I've sort of identified he's had a bit of a pattern of good then bad games for the past 4 weeks. So his XGI versus Wolves at home was 1.13, and then after that he got a 0.08 versus Man United. Then after that he got a 1.29 versus Ipswich, and then a 0.01 versus Fulham. So those games were coinciding with kind of weak opponents at home and then tough opponents away. So yeah, he hasn't actually blanked at home all season, which is something obviously really good. 9, 14, 9, 8, and 15. And then his away form is 1, 2, 8, 2, and 3. So clearly not doing so well at home, away from home, sorry. So this week, Bournemouth at home, the odds are he's going to do something, I suppose. Bournemouth at home this week, Leicester at home in the next 3 as well. So worthy keeping for those 3 at least. But then after that, his fixtures do start to turn, tough again, which is Villa away, Newcastle home, Chelsea. He's got Forest, which are not conceding many goals. Arsenal after that, Southampton in there, but then they've got Man City and Liverpool both at home, back to back as well. So like their fixtures look pretty rough from till around game 24-ish. Like there's obviously some good fixtures in there, but yeah, he might end up being a sell, but at the same time, like we know what he can do, and he could be he's still a good asset, and they still have a good attack. So he's probably a risky sell at that point.
Yeah, no, it is. It will be interesting to see if he remains like a season hold. He's like the most increased in price player this season, and he's up to like 40% now. But you're right, yeah, he's blanked in all but one of his away games, but perhaps that's because of who he's been playing: Liverpool, City, Spurs, and Fulham. It's perhaps a surprise it's the Tottenham one he returned in, but maybe something to watch to see if it trend. I can't imagine him blanking against Everton, but you're right. After that, Villa, Chelsea, Brighton, Southampton, maybe those are trickier away games.
I mean, Everton's defence when they were at it, like their defence at home is not bad. So yeah, I mean, just like we saw last week, like that Fulham, like they are a good defence, but they're not amazing. Like Everton, probably roughly around Fulham's defence levels, I'd say. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Maybe he was put in some kind of different sort of formation, or he was asked to do more tracking back. I don't know, but so just quickly on Flecken, like you own Flecken still, right?
I do.
Yeah. So 0 clean sheets all season. Went from I think it was roughly a 15-pointer in the 90th minute to 4 by the full time on Monday. Did get 10 saves, which obviously helped him out. Dropped out of the bonus as well. yeah, so I'll just say, like, in general, don't invest in their defense unless you're on Flecken, I guess. He's only once all season managed to have an XGC of under 1, which was 3 times. Wait, no, only once all season. Right? Yeah, only once all season have they managed an XGC of under 1, which was actually 0.99, so basically 1. And then 3 times they've got on an XGC, expected goals conceded, of over 2, and over once 3 over. What the hell am I saying? And once over 3.
Oh yeah, okay.
Christ. So yeah, basically, their defense is shocking.
Bad,
like it's always XGC is always huge, basically. So, but he has at least got 1 save point in every game week, except for 2 of them so far. So he is at least getting those save points. That's what we look for in a 4.5 keeper, to get save points. But we at least want the potential of at least some clean sheets, and that doesn't seem to be there.
If he, I mean, I luckily didn't have to live through it. I woke up and thought, oh, he's got 4 points, and I saw it was so late, and I was just like, oh, okay. But like 4 points is not bad. But if he gets one clean sheet and maybe some returns off the back of that, or this game, he would have been only like, I don't know, somewhere like 5 points behind Raya. So I know that's quite a big swing, and there's an if question in there, but it's so difficult to choose a goalkeeper. And yeah, who I think Henderson is doing better than him,
not
and
much better.
Sells.
Barely.
But those are the only 2 on Sanchez, perhaps. Yeah, there's 3 keepers there in the 4.5 bracket that have gone up a little bit. It's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick a keeper this season.
I agree. Yep.
And it feels like a bit of a wasted transfer. But anyway, he's still got good fixtures, so let's see. But you're right, their defence is just utter trash, which is why I think it's like a good time to get Bournemouth this weekend, because conceding, what was it? Yeah, 6 goals in their last 2 games at home. And like you say, not kept a clean sheet all season. I just feel like there's going to be goals in that game.
10 saves versus Fulham as well.
That's mad. Yeah, they had I saw Fulham had like 26 shots. I mean, and also knowing how greedy Semenyo is, I feel like he's going to be taking so many shots this weekend. I think I don't know. I do, going back to that just very briefly, I do like Semenyo more than Evan Nilsson just because of the minutes.
I'd be utterly shocked if Bournemouth don't score.
Oh God, yeah.
I would be amazed.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, should we move on to another fixture?
Yes, go for it.
Cool. I think it's probably time to talk about City a little bit. We do every week. Someone's just said, are we going to talk about Haaland and selling Haaland this week? I mean, we've both done that now, and last night was their 3rd defeat in 3 matches, I think, in 3 different competitions: League Cup, Premier League, and I don't really feel like they're going into this one in a decent state to even win it, really.
Yeah, I think I saw they lost their undefeated record in the Premier League of like 20 weeks or something, and then plus their European undefeated record for ages as well, all in the same week, basically.
Yeah, they've had just like a nightmare time. And I'm watching Haaland last night. He was just like snatching at shots, and obviously he missed his penalty. He seems off it at the moment, and can't really put a finger on why. But I have got some numbers on them in a minute. But I'll talk about Brighton first, just because they're at home. So I think, even including this game, this is the start of a good run for them, because I can see them scoring against City. So a bit like Bournemouth, this is a decent run. So they've got obviously City at home. This is good. I should say good game for attackers. Then Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham and Leicester away back to back. Palace at home, West Ham away, and Brentford at home. So I think they're good fixtures for attackers, especially the Southampton, Crystal Palace, West Ham and Brentford game, which are like at the end of that 8-game or 9-game stretch. But I don't think there's many clean sheets in there. Maybe only 1 to 2 in the next 8, which could be Southampton at home and Crystal Palace at home. If you're looking for a Brighton defender, I thought, is it Kadioglu? Yeah. Kadioglu. He looked good against Poole, and he obviously came in the summer with quite a good reputation behind him. He also wasted like that big second chance in the game, so he could have had two returns in the first half there, and they were good on the break against Liverpool, which is why I think they'll be decent at home against City this weekend. But he was effectively playing right wing in that game. He's had 6, 6 and 6 in his last 3 games. 3 shots in the box in that time. Is the second highest total of all defenders. So he's obviously being given a bit of license to go forward. So he's not well picked or well owned. I'll just double check his ownership, and I don't think they're probably going to get many returns. What's his ownership? 0.3, so it's teeny tiny. And I don't think, like I say, they're going to get that many clean sheets in the next games. But if he's given that license to go forward, then yeah, he does come with a bit of a reputation of some good attacking threat. So yeah, he could be a good option. And then the other side of the Brighton field, I should say, Welbeck, it just continues to be good this season and like continue to pick up returns. And I think it's last 4 games, 5, 7, 9 and 8, and then he had a blank against Chelsea. I think he's only blanked twice 3 times this season, away against Chelsea, away against Arsenal, and home against Ipswich. So I think it's mad that he's still only 5.9 and he's only 20% ownership, because I think he's probably been as good a budget striker as like Mbeumo's been a budget midfielder. And I kind of think that probably shows the trepidation we've got from picking him from like previous seasons when we really shouldn't. We talked about him after like the first 2 games of the season, saying, perhaps it's actually Welbeck is the better option than Pedro because he's going to be more reliable, he's playing up front. And we were like, nah, poo-pooed it. But like here we are like 8 game weeks later and he's just like been so consistent from both minutes and attacking output. So he's had 8 goal involvements, and he's pretty good on expected minutes as well. 4 times he's played 90, 4 times he's played 80 minutes or more, and he's averaging 6.4 points per game. And then I was trying to compare, I was doing a bit of a comparison to see who looks like a better buy this week. Because I like Semenyo and I also like Welbeck for this week, but you're probably backing against Semenyo doing more this game week. But actually, if you look at XG of all mids and forwards under 7 million for this season, 21 shots in the box is the 4th highest total of all mids and forwards. And the second, 7 big chances he's had is actually the 2nd highest total after Calvert-Lewin, which is amazing. So he's basically been really reliable, and for such a budget price, I think it's surprising that his ownership's not way higher, really.
Yeah, it's funny because Pedro's about to come back, and I've been like, oh yeah, eyes looking that way. The emoji, the eyes looking at Pedro, thinking, oh, he could be a good pickup when he comes back in on penalties. But yeah, I probably should have just picked Welbeck from the start, shouldn't I?
It's funny, like even though Pedro's coming back, I still wouldn't like trust him with his fitness to like be better than Welbeck anyway, because surely he's going to be supplying Welbeck. I think in the games they started together this season, Welbeck did outscore him as well. So
yeah, if I just picked Welbeck because they were the same price, right? They both started at 5.5 million, and I just would have had no problem, and he would have just got me loads of points. Yeah, just like for God's sake, it's like I guess it was the appeal of the penalties, I suppose. You always want to pick the penalty taker. And Pedro has mostly been okay for injuries. But yeah, just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
I know. So I like Welbeck as well, but I would, if I was feeling really ballsy and I wasn't like in 3 million, I would probably get him this week and back against Brighton, scoring well against City. But I think that's probably a slightly longer shot. I think they can score maybe a goal, maybe 2. And I think Welbeck's probably quite likely to be involved, but I don't think he could potentially haul in the same way that a Bournemouth player could this given game week. Yeah,
I mean, like, I was less keen on him just because he's got a history of like being injured all the time as well, hasn't he? So, him being fit for 10 weeks is a miracle in itself.
Yeah, no, he's been really, really consistent. And then on the City side of things, I thought I'd look at their like numbers between game weeks basically 1 and 5 and 6 and 10, which is obviously corresponds with when Rodri has been out full time, let's say, and because I think we've got like a good 5 games on each side of that now. So in the first 5 game weeks they were top for XG, 11.3 in total, and between 6 and 10 they're down in 5th with a 5th highest total of 8.9. I think that XGC is what shocked me. So in game weeks 1 to 5, their XGC was just 3.8, which was 2nd best. In the last 5 game weeks, their XGC has been 6.9. So that's total goals, obviously, or expected amount of goals. That's the 14th, worse than West Ham, who are like super porous as well. And I did these notes on this before the game last night against Sporting when they got absolutely battered, and they also looked like they'd lost their discipline last night because they gave away such cheap penalties. Like, was it Gvardiol the first one and Savio the second one?
Yeah.
Just like...
I don't think it was Savio. I think it was Nunes. Nunes gave it away.
Did you think they just looked really like... I don't know. It's not like they just didn't... Not care is probably the right word. But they just looked really... I don't know. Like,
don't know, just
flaky.
Yeah, just lost their heads a little bit, and you don't usually see that from D.
No.
Yeah, Haaland missing loads of chances.
Loads.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, and then on Haaland specifically, so his XG in the first 5 games was 5.6, and he scored 10 goals. In the last 5, it's just been 4 with 1 goal scored. So there's obviously been a drop off, but the most surprising one for me was the XGC basically drop off. So yeah, I think it bodes well for Brighton this weekend, and I think City look like, it's funny for a team that are like nearly at the top of the league. I think because their standards are so high, and even though they've only lost 1 game in the league and it's like the end of their unbeaten run, you just think they're having a massive wobble. But there is actually reason to believe they have already been having this wobble and they've got out of it. Like, they could have easily dropped points at Wolves. They didn't win convincingly against Southampton. There has been, and even a game against Arsenal where they were playing against 10 men for half an hour. Like, in seasons gone by, you'd expect them to win that like 3 or 4.
They nearly lost to Fulham as well. They only won that game because they scored more. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they have been scraping by a little bit. In the Newcastle game, they weren't that great. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just as a Lewis owner as well. Like, you know, last week where he said he's undroppable, and then like we've seen it before.
I know.
Like Walker just comes in out of nowhere, which is so funny. I mean, not for Lewis owners, obviously, including me. But I'm just like, I'm really regretting having him at the moment, to be honest, because I just like, he played 90 last night when they got destroyed, and can I see him starting this weekend? Probably not. Like, Walker came on and looked terrible, but at the same time, like, Lewis, I don't know, he just seems like he might be a bit flaky for minutes again now, and it's Brighton away, and it doesn't seem like a good fixture for clean sheet,
and then it's Spurs against Liverpool.
Exactly. So I'm just thinking maybe I just get rid of him for a while, to be honest. Like, the 4 point whatever he is now, like 4.9 is still good in a City defense, but the City defense is bad right now. So he's not providing the value that I got, but he's barely getting attacking returns anymore either. So at this point, what's he my team for? Like, I've got Dunk, people like that, like, who is just sitting on the bench, like, who I need to get rid of maybe before him. But obviously if you've got Guardiola, you're loving it, but with as being a Lewis owner, I'm not enjoying it right now.
What about I was going to say, what about Milenkovic, because he has just been clutch, but with his clean sheets and even his assist against Chelsea. But I know we haven't really got any notes on this, but I got to say I quite like maybe a Dalot or a United defender from this game week. I feel they've still got new rude manager bounce. And then after that, they've got they've got Ipswich and Everton in the new manager's first few games. I quite like those 2 fixtures, and yeah, it's a bit tougher after that. But yeah, I don't know. Dallow's done well so far this season. He's not much more expensive than Lewis, and yeah, there could be an uptick. It's always nice to target a bounce.
I don't know. Like, Dallow's just not a good player.
That's true.
I don't do it.
Yeah, I didn't factor that in, actually.
Maybe Mazraoui, if he's definitely fit again. I don't mind that. But Dalot, I'm less keen on.
Less keen on that. But yeah, the defender rankings are a bit meh at the moment. None of them are really like reliable for clean sheets or attacking returns. So
and like Forest's fixtures are not that good coming up either, so it's hard to sort of get on them too. So I'm looking to buy a defender, and I'm just like thinking, where the hell do I go? Yeah.
What about Brighton, matey? I was just talking about.
Don't know. Maybe. I mean, I've already got Dunk, so I'd be getting like a third Brighton again. It's just like that's going to stop me ever getting like a Welbs or a Matoma or something like that. Like, so. Yeah, that doesn't seem wise either. Maybe I just do Dunk to him. I could just do that maybe, but yeah.
I think that could work. All right, should we talk about another game? I feel like we've been chit-chatting a lot about those first 2.
Yeah, we have. Okay, so Spurs versus Ipswich is my second game I'm going to look at. Spurs attacking stats last 6 weeks. Top notch. XG of 14.73, which is first for all teams. Goals 16 first, shots 109 second, big chances 24, which is first, 81 shots in the box first, 39 shots on target, which is third. So yeah, their attack is like firing on basically all cylinders, like Johnson, Madison, Son, Solanke. Kulusevski, like they're all doing well. They're all returning points. So yeah, even with Madison sort of benched in some games, like they're still creating like at a very high rate right now. So yeah, the
Do
thumbnail
we know why
says
he was benched in that game?
I think it was just tactical, as far as I know. Just they wanted a bit more like I don't even know. I heard it was tactical on Twitter, but yeah. So yeah, the thumbnail says Solanke captain question mark.
Is that happening?
Yeah, possibly. Like game week 5 to 9, he had a total of 10 shots. But game week 10 himself in Aston Villa, he had 5 shots. So he had half of his whole shots in one game compared to like 4 game weeks. So yeah, versus Villa, he got an XG of 1.6, 2 big chances, an XGI of 1.7. He had 0 key passes and 0 big chances created and 0.0 XA. So he's not got assist potential right now, but he did get 16 points, 2 goals, and 1 assist. The assist was from a fantasy assist for the winning the free kick. So yeah, he topped the charts for all goal scoring metrics for all forwards in game week 10. Like his Ipswich's XGC the last 6 weeks has been 14.2, which is 20th worst of all teams. So that's obviously a good factor for captaincy. Yeah, they've had 29 big chances conceded, which is 20th overall. Again, 14 goals conceded, which is joint 19th, and they've had 0 clean sheets this season. So yeah, there's going to be goals for Spurs here, surely. So at home as well. Like, I think the problem with captaincy for me is that the points is, as I've said, it's a little bit hard to predict in any game. Like owning Solanke for the 2 weeks before or the 3 weeks before, like he got an assist in one, and then after that he blanked, whereas the others got loads of points. So I did a kind of like last 4 weeks of like Johnson, Maddison, Son, Kulusevski, and Solanke of just like over the weeks who's returning. So like in game week 6, Johnson got 11, Maddison got 3, Son got 0, Kulusevski got 11, Solanke got 6. In 7, Johnson got 7, Maddison got 10, Son again got 0 because he wasn't playing these, but a bit unfair. But yeah, Kulusevski went from 11 to 1, Solanke got 5. In game week 8, Johnson then finished his good run. He got 2 points. Maddison got 4. Son got 8. This is where he came back in. Was unlucky not to get that assist in that second goal. Kulusevski went back up to 9, and then Solanke's blanking on 2.
That's such a mix, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Johnson blanked again on 1. Maddison got 2. Son got 0. Kulusevski only got 1, and then Solanke got 2. So they basically all blanked in that game.
That was that Palace game where I threw my toys out the pram because he got 1 point.
Yeah, pretty much the same. And then game week 10, Johnson got last week got 8. Maddison got 6, Son got 4, Kulusevski got 5, Solanke got 16. So they all returned in that game, all 5 of their attackers. So, yeah, it's just hard to predict who's going to get the points. As I mentioned from being a Solanke owner a couple of weeks ago, of just watching the others all get points while he does nothing. That could certainly happen again. Like maybe like his first goal last week was a great finish. Lucky that Kulusevski sort of found him. Like that was a really nice pass. The second one, tap in, and then the third, a fantasy assist. Like, is that consistent to be good to get returns next week? I mean, maybe. I mean, it's good that he's getting those fantasy assists. Like he went from being basically non-involved to being the focal point again and just getting all the points. So yeah, the fixture is what's really making me think yes. Because I don't own Haaland and stuff like that. Like Salah, I think Salah's fixture is not that good, is it? That's the Villa at home, so that's difficult-ish.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so it's just making me think that the top attack right now against the worst defense, the striker focal point. Like, why not? Right? Like
you did the same with Mbuemo against
Ipswich,
and you were targeting them. So.
Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's probably between those two. Like, I think Joel Weber in chat talked about Mbuemo captaincy as well. Like, that's not a bad shout either because his home form is so good. So there's a third option that could be one to look at. So yeah, I'm interested in the Solanke thing. What do you think about captaincy there?
Well, someone else just on Solanke as well. Michael in the chat said thoughts on DCL to Solanke or Isak, and I think Solanke does look good for this game week, obviously, but it's such a big caveat on that because he was so poor before that.
I know.
Like you were
I know.
just like
It's big risky. Yeah, I was so close to selling. Yeah.
yeah, and even last week you were like, I don't know what to do with him, and I don't know why he like I can't say I didn't watch the game, so I don't know like what the game state was. Like his first goal was a really nice finish. You're right, he got the free. I can't remember what his second goal was like.
It was basically just a tap in.
Oh, but yeah, he's had like the potential or he had the potential to do that when he's like got back after being injured against Brentford and Man United. He had such high XG. I don't know. It's just what flipped in that game to make it go supersonic again. So, but
I think he just got on the end of like the things, whereas like the first one when Johnson got to the end, just at the back post ahead of him, like he just happened to get on the end of the other ones that happened, like fell in the box sort of thing. So I don't know. Like it could have just been a little bit of luck in that game week, and we could see him go down again. But at the same time, like Spurs' attack is so strong at the moment, and against the worst defense, that he's definitely going to get chances.
Yeah.
So it's just if he takes them.
Yeah, I look at like the time of day the fixtures are on as well, and think like most of my points this weekend, if I get any, are going to come on Saturday and like Sunday lunchtime when Spurs are playing Ipswich. I've like only got Chris Wood playing, and I feel like people are going to have like multiples of Spurs attacker, and there's no Spurs attacker I can really get to comfortably this week that I really want to. But I think they could haul, and you're right about predicting the points is so difficult.
Well, I mean, if Palmer's out, Palmer to Son.
Well, I'd probably actually get Johnson now because I was just I was just comparing the numbers a little bit. I appreciate Son hasn't played as much recently, but Johnson's been top for expected points in the last 4 game weeks for all Spurs mids, more than Solanke, and he's got a higher XG rate as well. So I think I'd probably. But the one another caveat on Spurs is they've got a fixture in Europe tonight, haven't they? I mean, this is always just such hullabaloo, but they're playing in Turkey tonight, aren't they? They got like a Champions League game.
Sure.
So I don't know how.
It's not Champions League. But
not Champions League. Sorry, like whatever conference, Europa League, something or other. Yeah. So that's obviously why they're playing Sunday. So it's a fixture which I feel like is there for the taking for Spurs, but whether they take it, they should do. But then where did that Crystal Palace 0-0 come from?
Well, they lost 1-0, didn't they?
Oh, lost 1-0 even. Yeah. Where did that come from?
Yeah, don't know, to be honest. So that was a blip, I guess. There's good options in that. Like Kulusevski has been pretty consistent this year.
Yeah, he's
getting points most weeks, like 11, 1, 9, 1, 5 in the last 5. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Even Madison's starting to pick up points as well. Like there is options all in that attack. You can probably just stick in one of them and not worry too much.
Yeah.
But lastly, just in that fixture from Ipswich, like Davis, like 4.5 million, 2.3% owned. Last 6 weeks, no defender has a higher XA in the whole game, 1.6, and it's not that close because Trent is on 1.2 in second.
Yeah.
He's had 6 big chances created, which is also well clear of the players. 3 players in joint second on 3. Sorry, so he's like 3 ahead of the all those players as well. So unfortunately, though, like I feel like his ceiling is obviously pretty low because Ipswich is so bad defensively. Like he's likely to concede multiple each week. So that means like despite his next he's got 4 green fixtures in the next 6. Like despite all that, like he's probably going to concede every game, and you can't really back a defender who relies on only attacking returns in a team that has no potential clean sheets, it seems like. So it's he seems fine and fun to pick, but like kind of like what's his name last year from Luton. What was the guy? Like he was a fun
Doherty.
pick, and he was getting no, it wasn't Doherty, was it? It was Doughty.
Doughty. Yeah.
Sorry, Doherty. I was thinking of the old Spurs guy. So it's kind of like him. Like they were not getting clean sheets, but he did have the attacking potential.
Yeah.
And like I picked him for a while, and I was thinking, surely they'll keep a few clean sheets, and they just never did.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think anyone should really go near Davis either. So even though that attacking potential's there, like Davis, wing back at the new Amarin Man United system, like that sounds fun.
It does sound good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need a new left back.
Exactly. Yeah. So just on him, like he's good potential, but I'm not sure about it.
And then finally on our match chat, I'll try and make it brief just so we can wrap up. We've done a long one tonight. Wrap up shortly. But yeah, Arsenal against Chelsea. It's an interesting game this week for a number of reasons. One, I think that Odegaard looks like he's going to be coming back, which could be huge for Arsenal. Both ends of the pitch really, like their defensive numbers of been by their standards subpar compared to last season. Like I didn't fancy a double up in game week 5. Wildcard was really popular, and I played it. Talking about Raya backing up, and they've just had no clean sheets since game week 4. Their numbers in the first 3 game weeks were bad as well. Like they didn't look sustainable for clean sheets. They've conceded high XG numbers, and it's proved that they haven't kept a clean sheet now since game week 4. Like the numbers are still make them look like a top side from a defensive point of view. 19 big chances conceded is still joint third best. But last season, do you remember we were used to them being like far and away out in the league of their own? And they'd be like, it's just 2 big chances conceded in the last 4 or 5 game weeks, and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
So they've just turned into like a normal defense this season rather than being elite. And I guess some of that is down to Odegaard's control, like missing from the middle of the pitch. And 11 goals conceded so far this season is nearly double the best in Liverpool. So I'm surprised really that there's been that much of a drop. But what I'm trying to say is that if Odegaard is back in training now, that after the international break for their good fixture run, they could well turn a corner there. And I think Rice is potentially out this game week as well.
He's missing tonight in the Champions League. He's not definitely out of the weekend, but yeah.
And attack-wise, recently they've been poor. They've actually had the worst XG in the league over the last 3 games and not scored in obviously 2 of those. Bournemouth game, they obviously got sent off, didn't help. But Newcastle, they were toothless. Like from what I saw of it, they could have played like another game and not scored. Like they created one sort of semi-decent chance, Saka for Rice. So I actually wouldn't be surprised going into this game week if Rice and Odegaard are still out that they don't score again, basically, and Chelsea are able to keep a clean sheet in this one. You kind of
it's possible. Maybe if Odegaard comes back in, like he helps Saka out a bit more, and Saka gets in the points. I hope not, because I've still own Havertz, and he's been a little bit unfortunate recently. I think he's blanked the last like maybe 3, maybe 4 in a row now. He's getting 3. The last 3 he's blanked. So I would like to see them get back up to doing well, but Chelsea away doesn't seem like a good one for that.
No, I'm surprised Saka's ownership is so low as well. Like I just mentioned him there, and he could have returned again against Newcastle if Rice had obviously got that header on target. But the Newcastle game was only his second blank of the season, and he's still only 25% owned, and it's maybe just that one game he missed out through injury. But like if you compare him to Salah, who's 45, Palmer's 55, and even Mbeumo's 41, I'm surprised that Saka's like such a differential still, especially like is his ownership really going to jump loads ahead of like their nice run in, let me just see if I can get it, in game week 12 onwards? Just seems quite low to me.
I expect it will, to be honest. 12 onwards seems like a great time to get him. Like I'll probably sell Watkins to get him. Yeah,
it looks great. Forest, West Ham United, Fulham, Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Brentford. It's like really good up until January, and with Odegaard back, I feel like, he's going to go from strength to strength again. And then just on Chelsea, they've obviously got good fixtures as well to after end of January, basically, after Arsenal, which I think, again, a bit like that City at home game for Brighton. I think Chelsea's game against Arsenal at home is good this weekend. Leicester, Aston Villa, Southampton, Tottenham, Brentford, Everton, I could go on, but they're all looking good. I was keen on Jackson last week, but after he played 90... and against United, he actually got booked. It's only now 1 booking away from a 1 game ban. So perhaps I shouldn't be so like put off by that, because Semenyo has also got that. We didn't mention that earlier. But there's a lot of games to get through before that like slate wipes again. So for both of those guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they got injured. So and just on Palmer, just on Jackson a little bit more. He's the only player at Chelsea with over higher XG than Palmer. 5.6 to 4.4. Also has 11 big chances. He also has 8 big chances. No, what am I talking about?
You were right first time.
I was right the first time. Yeah, also has 11 big chances so far this season compared to Palmer's 8. So he's obviously nowhere near as creative, but he is still, like we said last week, looking good. And it's just whether you get put off enough by that potential ban. So I think just on Palmer, let's just spitball this a little bit. So the quote from Maresca, I just got it up in front of me. It says, Cole was not, this was a couple of hours ago today, Cole was not able to train yesterday. He was not fit. We hope to have him back against Arsenal. We will assess him. How does it sound that positive? I know it's only Wednesday, but then he didn't train today either by the sound of it. I don't know, maybe they didn't do training.
I don't know if you saw the challenge, like the Martinez onto his knee. I can't see it was. I can't really see that it would be from that because it didn't look that bad.
Didn't look like that would be like a muscle or a knee injury.
No, so yeah, if it's maybe just a knock, then I imagine he's probably fine. Yeah. And he always gets Thursdays off anyway, so from Conference League. So I feel like he's probably a hold because the fixtures, as we said, is absolutely fine till basically the end of the season. And this Arsenal home, is he going to do that much anyway? To be honest, he's probably not. Maybe you could do the hokey cokey and go to Son or Saka for 1 week if you don't own either.
Maybe,
but at the same time, that doesn't seem that worth it either. So,
I think if he plays in this game like he hauls, I think he could do. I think he could get double digit this game week. His numbers at home have been really, really good. And Arsenal, if they still haven't got Odegaard quite back, I feel like Chelsea will be right up for it this weekend.
Yeah, for someone with me who's got a full bench of flags, if he misses out, then that's a worry for me for sure.
You have to get your second Spurs player.
Yeah, possibly. Should we go on to our teams then?
Yeah, let's do it. Go on, then let's talk about yours first then. Talking about your flags.
All right. So, at the moment it's on Salah captain. It may be Solanke still, not decided yet as such. But yeah, the team really picks itself with all the flags I've got. Palmer, I'm hoping is fit. Rodgers, it's a tough fixture, so probably wasn't playing him anyway. Dunk, I might look to move on. I might look to move Lewis on. And at the same time, Watkins is taking up a lot of money in my team with a tough fixture and 2 blanks in a row, or 3 blanks in the last 4. So yeah, Watkins is on a little bit of a tightrope, but at the same time, his fixtures afterwards are really good too. Yeah. So I want to see his minutes continue to be good. He played 90 last week, which is good, and then 80 the week before. So hopefully that continues at least.
They've got UCL tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, they do, and he is starting as far as I know. I think it's just kicked off there in the early game. So maybe he shows some form tonight. That would be nice to be able to keep him. Liverpool's defense is still it's good, but they can be scored against. So I think, like I said, the team picks itself. If Palmer's out, I think I'll probably go. It's Saka or Son just for 1 week possibly, or it's just Dunk to Kadioglu or Kirkes or something like that, or it's Smith Rowe. I think I'll probably just end up keeping Rodgers, Smith Rowe to Semenyo.
Have you only got one free transfer as well this week?
I got 2 at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
Yeah, so I have options, but I'm really not sure. I want to get a Bournemouth guy for sure.
What do you think is the most likely if the deadline was in an hour?
Crystal Palace away is good for Smith Rowe. So I don't know, to be honest. I need to know what Rodgers is actually starting tonight, isn't he? So Rodgers is obviously fine. Maybe just Dunk to someone because I'm not sure about Lewis's if he's going to start. So I need defensive cover because Lewis coming on last week and getting at 1 point, I would have been 10 men if he didn't come on. So I need to sort that out a little bit.
Martin retracted their message. I was just about to answer that about is Diaz an option again that he played centre forward in the Champions League? I would say probably not. Having experienced Diaz, and he's getting rotated far more now, I just don't think it's worth the risk. And DJ says, why not Palmer to Bruno?
Yeah, Bruno is an option. Yeah.
New manager.
Yeah, he looked pretty good last week as well. So, I quite like it.
And then FPL Madrista says, greetings from the USA. He's enjoying the show while delivering my Amazon packages. Well, have a great day. And also, what an exciting day. The first day of a new presidency. How exciting. A new old president. Yeah, true. A new old president. Cool. Dunk to Dallo. Yeah, Michael's on board with the Dallo. Cool.
I much prefer Mazraoui if I'm going to go there. Like he's just better.
Do you think
much
is going to change though with United, like in these games? Like, do they like the quality is still like lacking up front, big time?
I mean, when does he come in? He comes on
He comes on after this game.
11th,
he comes for Ipswich away. I think is his first game.
Yeah, so not much will change, I don't think, for Ipswich. So yeah, if like who's he gonna? He's gonna play what like, De Ligt,
Maguire,
Martinez, and Maguire as a back three, I guess, or Evans, and then who knows if he's actually going to play that wing back system. I mean, I assume he will, but like he's going to have like basically no time to practice that with the team. And I don't think Man United have basically played backs threes as much as I can remember. No. So
it's going to be total change. Can't imagine how quick they're going to settle into it as well in 2 weeks in the international break when half the squad have gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think Mazraoui has good sort of attacking potential. He's got a few assists this season. He's got a good record with Bayern. He was good at Dortmund. So yeah, I don't mind that.
We've got a couple more questions in the chat before I do my team. He said, which three to start between Collins, Gvardiol, Lewis, and Gabriel? Well, I'd probably play Gvardiol, Gabriel, and Collins if it were me.
I mean, I would probably start Lewis just
over Collins.
Because Bournemouth are scoring. Yeah, but Collins could get attacking return maybe because Bournemouth's defense is not amazing.
No. And then DJ said, "Who do you rather have, Bruno or Solanke?" I think it's difficult to compare the two just because it's two different positions. But
this week probably Solanke.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Long term, probably Bruno.
Right, let's have a quick look at this one. I don't think I'd updated it properly. So you're still pretty confident on Salah captain, aren't you?
Yeah, it's Salah or Solanke. I'm not decided who. And then Vice may end up on Bremo as well. Like I don't mind that.
Cool. Now, I don't mean to show off this week, right? But I'm playing my 4 million starting goalkeeper this week. Fabianski's getting his first team run out. Flecken.
Like it.
He's getting benched for his first clean sheet of the season, so look out for that on next week's rant bit.
Yeah.
The team looks alright, I think, this week. Milenkovic against Newcastle, Trent, Gabriel with his bullet header against Chelsea. Midfield obviously picks itself with the big ones in there.
If Palmer's out, you just keep him, do you think?
If Palmer's out, I would probably actually just punt on Johnson for a week and then reverse the transfer. Or I would do Semenyo. I don't know, I just feel like Johnson was the only one from last week who obviously returned, so there's obviously a tiny bit of regret there, but I don't know if that's a reason enough to bring him back, because I'd probably want to get rid of him the next week anyway. So yeah, I'll maybe roll and play Rodgers away against Liverpool. So the main move I'm thinking this week, I've only got one free transfer, so I've got my two options are, I'm fed up with Calvert-Lewin, I think, so he's either going to go to Evan-Nilsson, which would make the rotations quite good because Rodgers and Bournemouth rotate quite well nicely over the next 4 or 5 game weeks when Wood has got a difficult game.
Yeah.
But I don't think Evan-Nilsson's as good a pick as Semenyo, and I don't want to have the lesser pick in the side again. So
if he's on penalties, I don't think he's lesser pick.
Yeah, but he's got fewer. I don't know. The minutes thing worries me a bit. I just think
so many late goals last week.
So many, yeah. If you think in one game week, maybe missing 20 minutes doesn't sound much, but then if you think over 2 game weeks, that's nearly half of football he's missing compared to Semenyo. So yeah, I think my main move probably is Rodgers to Semenyo and then play 5 in the 3-5-2. Just play Cunha and Wood and bench Calvert-Lewin, and then maybe just do the rotation with Calvert-Lewin for another game week.
Do you have the money in the bank to do that? I assume you do.
Yeah, I've got 1.3 at the minute, which is all that Haaland cash money, baby. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I think that I'm feeling like it could be another green arrow. I'm pretty confident about Salah captain as well. I haven't really got another option. Palmer, I think, could get a 10-pointer, and Buemo could maybe get a 10-point. But I expect Salah's going to play, and I don't mind the game against Villa either. I think they could score a couple in that game too.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I think we've answered all the questions tonight, haven't we? We had a few, which was nice.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else?
Mostly, anyway. Yeah. No, nothing else to say.
Michael's just finally said Evan Nielsen or Welbeck. I think if you were picking today for a longish term, Evan Nielsen is good, but if next week, I don't know. I like Welbeck.
They're both pretty good.
Yeah, they are both good. I mean, I talked up both. Or you talked about Nielsen. I was really hot on Welbeck at the start of the week, but it's just because I like Semenyo. He's sort of gone to the back of my mind a little bit.
Who's on pens for Brighton? Apart if Pedro is not there, is it Welbeck?
We've got no idea.
I guess we don't know.
No, I don't think we know.
Fair enough. Not sure, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who would be. Ferguson's been back in a little bit recently, which I don't like for Welbeck.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think
can't really go wrong with either of them. No, I'd say. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think we'll rippity wrap it up there, shall we?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you this time next week for more of the same. Bye bye.
Cheers all.